Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. We have a very special guest, and today we have Suzanne. So, Suzanne is a beautiful person who supports all mums. Her name is Suzanne Shoesmith, and she has her own little business called Choice for Change, CHOICE, and the number four, change. And so she's essentially a self-care coach for mums. She's also certified as a hypnotherapist, a timeline therapist, a life coach, also neuro-linguistic programming coach, and a quantum flow practitioner. So with all of these beautiful complementary modalities and services, she really wants to be able to help everyone in their unique situation from what they were. So we need to be able to understand as well that she's also a founder of the Thrive in Your Body, Mind and Life program. And who doesn't want to thrive in your body, mind, and life, right? She also is here to specialize in helping mums shift from stress, overwhelmed emotions, unhealthy habits into balance, calm, and inner peace, right? And she's going to talk about soon her different special things that she has from her perspective, from her services, and how she's able to help you. So welcome, Suzanne. How are you?
Hi, Elena. Thanks so much. I'm doing really good, thanks. How about you?
I'm good. I just feel that was a really long introduction. So I hope I got everything right because there's a lot to know about you. And with all the different things that you're doing, all of the qualified modalities you have, it's beautiful and inspirational.
Thank you so much for the intro. And yes, you did get it right.
Yay! Always nice, isn't it?
Yes.
So, for everyone, all of our listeners, and obviously all of our listeners are mums, that is the primary demographic. So, for us to get to know you a little bit more and what you have to offer, what is your story or your background and how it has led you to being a self-care coach specifically for mums?
Okay, so little bit of a story behind me as to what's led me to being a self-care coach and a resilience coach as well for mums. So if I take you right back, quite a while ago now, it's probably about 30 years ago now. So um, when I was a teenager, I saw my mother change from someone who appeared to be healthy, happy, mobile, active, etc., to someone who's, just changed emotionally,
Mm.
mentally, became more like reserved within herself, kind of sense that, something was going on. And she would have emotional outbursts towards my father for no real reason that he knew of.
Mm.
She was, and sort of prior and after that, she was actually diagnosed with secondary breast cancer.
Oh,
Um,
no.
yeah, so this was back in about 1994, I think it was. She got diagnosed the second time.
Yeah.
So she'd have these emotional outbursts towards dad. She even blamed my father for giving her the cancer, which is something that he held on for a long, long time and
Oh, wow.
couldn't understand why.
Yeah.
Um, so unfortunately, my mother passed away in August 1995, and it'll be
Oh.
35th year her anniversary. So I was 19 at the time; she was 52. So as a teenager, it's something that's huge that happens to you when you lose your own mother. Okay,
Yeah.
so she left five kids behind, and a husband as well of about 25 years. So after she died, I developed a lot of anxiety, stresses, worries about my own health
Mm.
and well-being, and of course, the whole grief that comes with losing, a loved one, particularly a parent as well. So there was a lot of emotional, mental stuff going on with me, and a lot of these concerns, anxieties, worries. So went on for quite a long time. It was
Mm.
probably about 15 years or even more than that.
Mm.
And back then, because it was in the 90s, mid to late 90s, a lot of talk and stuff that I read back then was saying that if you've ever lost a loved one to cancer, or someone, a loved one has gotten cancer, or they may have died from it or survived it, you've got an 85% chance of getting cancer yourself through genetics. Okay, so that really just amplified anxieties even more, thinking, believing that it was going to happen to me, that I was
And
going to go through the exact same thing my
yeah,
mother went through.
and at that time, in that moment, reading that, seeing that statistic, feeling it's inevitable, feeling completely helpless to change my future, reading it as a fact, and this is like I'm doomed. This is my life now, and there's nothing I can do about it. Of course, that would cause so much anxiety. Plus, you can't even grieve your mum because you're so worried about your future.
Absolutely. So there was a lot of mixed emotions going on, the grieving, all these anxieties, worries about what I was learning, what was, on the TV or in newspapers,
Yeah,
magazines, etc. A lot of all that media stuff,
yeah.
advertising. And my mother was someone who, before she died, she became just skin and bone and confined to a wheelchair. So I had that image of her and cancer as if that's what cancer did to someone,
Yeah.
as if it was something that was going to happen to me and that I was going to go through the same, So I carried a lot of this for a long time.
Mm,
So the years went on, and I ended up getting married and having my own children as well. Still having those thoughts in the back of my head that I might get cancer and leave my own children behind. I had
mm,
two of three daughters at the time, late 20s, married as well. So all those thoughts in the background, And in about 2009, I was reading a book which got me interested in life coaching. It mentioned about life coaching. It was a Tony Robbins book. So it sparked my interest in life coaching, and I inquired about a coaching course here in Brisbane, and ended up enrolling in one to do it externally from home. So I was, doing that. It took a couple of years to do it, but there was a situation where we had to work with a couple of other students, like in a practice coaching client situation. So I was the client this time, and another one the coach, and we had to think up. Sorry, I had to think up a real issue that I wanted to work on, that I was having trouble, resolving or getting past, and mine was, well, the fear of getting breast cancer and going through the exact same that mum went through.
mm.
And I had to think of a positive step forward as a result of it. Okay. And mine was, well, to educate myself about cancer, what causes it, what puts a woman at high risk of it, what leads to it, all that kind of stuff. So then from there, I started going on a learning and education journey. And sort of over the years, and it's, that learning education journey, it's still going on, it doesn't stop. But back then, what I actually discovered, which really surprised me, was that about 95% of all cancer cases are actually caused by major lifestyle factors, okay, such as being overweight, drinking, smoking, not eating right, not exercising and moving, not sleeping properly. So it was all these factors that we as human beings have 100% control over
Mm.
and can change. And that about 5% of cancer cases are actually caused by genetics. Okay. So for all that time, I carried the belief that about 85% of cancer cases, would lead to, caused by genetics, based on what I learned back in the 90s, not long after mum died.
Mm.
And then I'm reading now, 15 years or more later, that it's actually, major lifestyle factors that can cause cancer. Okay. So I was really shocked and surprised by that. So I started moving forward and incorporating different things into my life, just improving, I was eating, moving more, Being mindful of stress. Stress was another big factor, and heightened emotional experiences as well was another sort of indirect cause of it. So I was just being more mindful about my own health and well-being in the relation to these factors, and just incorporating what I could or improve what I could on in
Mm.
my life. But I was really seeking one main thing that would help me to really reduce my risk of cancer. So I went on a bit of a seeking journey, as well as still educating myself about it as well. But around that time I was doing my coaching course, my husband and I started to be hit with major financial troubles, okay, and challenges. He had to suddenly stop working due to injury. So it just started from that and led to many, many years of him being in and out of work, wage up and down. Okay, so the anxieties about the cancer led directly into anxieties about money. Okay, so it really just amplified my anxieties, worries, stresses, even more than what it was. Okay, if you can just imagine that, just many, many years of, being hit with one financial blow after the other. Okay, now I was the sole manager of our finances, so I was really being hit myself, mostly with these financial blows that kept hitting. With he was in and out of work, wage up and down, so each of that was a blow within itself.
Mm.
Um, so I was, mentally and emotionally taking on each hit of the financial blows that were happening. And I discovered there was extra debt being racked up on the side unknown to me, so that was even more financial blows. So it went on for a long, long time, all these financial challenges. They were heavy, they were burdening on me. But I managed to get back up again, after each, financial obstacle or financial blow that kept hitting. I did some other certifications, hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, after the life coaching, and then later the quantum flow. And so these certifications were teaching me about thoughts and emotions, some health stuff as well. I did learn about some cancer stuff in the timeline therapy course I was doing, which helped me to understand about mum's cancer and situation a bit more as well, or just cancer in general. Um, but I was still, searching for something that would improve my health more, but also be able to get us out of our financial situation that we're in, and to, try and stop these financial blows from hitting one after the other.
Mm.
So I got into, a range of different things like network marketing, looking for health products, particular health products that might reduce the risk of cancer, and opportunities that would allow for income, extra income to be earned, etc. And yeah, so I was, just reading what I could, learning what I could, and being mindful of my own well-being as well. And so there was a lot of, I saw within my own husband, what a kind of a sense that, he had a lot of stuff going on mentally and emotionally. Particularly, he was out of work for periods, months on end in some
Mm.
cases.
And it's
But
so
it
hard for
was,
mums because there's this book and it's called The Myth of Normal by Dr. Gabor Mate. And essentially everything that you just said then, mums, we are the shock absorbers. We are the ones that worry. We take on everything because of our estrogen that is then for our mental load, which then leads to decision fatigue. And then all this dysregulation and anxiety that you've had, as well as still trying to grieve your mum, as well as the almost the fears and the paranoia about health and needing to get control, but I can't get control because of the financial. But I think it almost is really inspirational because it sounds like a personal journey for you has now almost turned into a professional journey because you've got the lived experience of what it's like to be in these situations, as well as hope for the future to be able to support other people that experience all of this as well.
Absolutely. So I've gone through long-term anxieties,
Mm,
stresses, worries, all this mental and emotional load, weight, and
mm,
burden. And during all that period of time, I was working full time. I had started my business, back during that time as well. I was working with a couple of women, but I had to put all that on hold. My husband had to work interstate because he couldn't get
mm.
another job up here.
Yeah.
So my kids were like 4, 8, and 10 or something at the time. So working full time, having to do all the cooking, cleaning, washing, everything, looking after the kids, work full time, trying
Mm.
to get the business going, and
What's mum
trying to
like,
look
isn't it?
after me as well during
Oh,
it all.
that's right.
Um,
With this mum life, we generally put out, we're at the bottom of the totem pole because, especially with kids that young, you've got to do whatever you can to be able to keep things running. Do you know? And especially in the economy, how difficult it can be, all the pressures you have, there's no downtime. Yeah, I completely understand. I'm pretty sure all of our listeners can as well. You know?
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a heavy load mentally and emotionally to carry. And there was also a point where my eldest daughter turned to me one night. She was about 8 at the time. She's now 20. She turned to me one night and said,
Mm,
"Mummy, are you going to leave Daddy? Please don't leave Daddy. There's too many kids in my class. His parents have split up." So
mm,
that hit really hard in that moment, and it was a turning point for me, and where
mm,
I made that choice for change to happen in our life and with my health even more, and that's where my business name came from, that turning point.
mm,
But progressing forward through what I'd learned on my learning journey, and about cancer, about health, through all my certifications which taught about the mindset and emotions and different things. I was also learning about the subconscious mind, the nervous system, energy fields. There was just such a whole host. But as I said, I was seeking one thing that would really help the most in our situation. And through what I was learning, I just had this light bulb moment happen where I realized that it was actually me. What I was seeking for, and the answer was actually me. And what I mean by that is that I had to go within and change what I was thinking, feeling, believing, perceiving about myself, the situation, about the husband, about money. Okay. The answers to my problems in getting us out of financial situation, or to move forward anyway, and to improve my health even more, was actually me. So I had to go within and utilize the resources that I had within inside of me. Okay, so all of us have a resilient, resourceful nurturer and warrior within us, and it's tapping into the resources that are in our body as it is, such as the subconscious mind, the nervous system, our chakra energy field, energy system. So I had to incorporate different, I term them as self-care practices, okay, such as upping my level of exercise and movement, incorporating the 6 different forms of components of exercise and movement into my day, eating healthier, doing meditations, journaling, a lot of writing to help shift feelings and thoughts of negativity and all that kind of stuff, help to shift all these anxieties, deep breathing, okay, being outdoors in nature, in the fresh air, sunshine, blue skies, just being in the whole energy of nature itself. So there was all these different self-care practices that I incorporated and up the level on. And as a result of it all, it's helped me to build that really high level resilience, calm, strength, and energy within me, to then help me better withstand the challenges of life, the negativities of others, the demands of motherhood, being able to do so much in one day and not be burnt out and exhausted, tired, but at the end of the day, just from the sheer mental and emotional weight of it all. So by doing these self-care practices, they saved me. They saved my health, even marriage, family unit as well, and has really developed, as I said, that high level resilience, strength, calm, and energy within me. And it's something that, from what I've learned and what I've incorporated, my children have picked up. I've got three daughters who are now 20, 18, and 14. So by being that role model, they've picked up on, different health practices, all these different self-care practices that they can incorporate in their life as well to utilize during stressful emotional moments that they go through as well, to help them shift through it much easier and quicker. Right, so all the answers, a lot of our answers are within us. It's just utilizing these resources that are in our God-given body, to help us build those cognitive coping mechanisms to help shield us against the mental, emotional challenges of life.
That sounds great and very the actionable steps that we can try and do every day to do without guilt, as well as understanding what your body needs, and then trying to be able to also incorporate children to do these things with you. So then it's a great example of how to live your life, right? So
That's
when you
right.
talk about the three pillars from chaos to calm, what are the three pillars?
Okay, so what I learned and discovered on my journey was these three, what I term the three pillars to thriving more in body, mind, and life. So the first one is awareness and connection. To be able to shift from where we are to where we want to be, or to just a better place. Okay, it all starts with awareness. Awareness of what we're thinking, what we're believing, what we're perceiving. Okay, so what we're sort of seeing through our own eyes, or our mind's eyes. Um, and connection part is having to go within, like I did, having to go within, because our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, perceptions, they're all within us, okay? They're all within our body, within our mind, okay? So it's having to really understand what's our triggers as well. What triggers us to feel anxiety, or it could be depression or anger or sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, shame, grief, all that kind of stuff. What's triggering it? A lot of us can experience traumas. All of us experience some form of trauma. Some just have it worse than others. Okay, so trauma, a past trauma, can be triggering for us as well. We've got all this unresolved emotional mindset stuff going on. So it's really having to build that level of awareness, and that's really the first step to being able to shift. And it's something that I had to do, was really work out, well, what thoughts am I thinking about, for example, money? What's the money stories there?
So that's your financial blueprint. What blueprints have you learned in your life that you're adopting for today? Can I change these blueprints? I think it's great to be very self-aware. What a great pillar.
That's right. So a lot of our money beliefs and habits can stem from, what's passed down to us through the generations from our parents or whoever looked after us. So we can pick up a lot of money habits from that.
And
And
scarcity.
conditioning, okay, so I believed, one of mine was not believing that I was not deserving of having more money, okay, and being hit with one blow after the other, financial blow after the other. It kind of cemented that in my head. And I took that as truth, that I just was not deserving of anything more. And you can apply it to other areas of your life as well. If you've got the same kind of problems happening over and over, it ends up like cementing in your subconscious mind more and more that belief that, or you can't have it, or you can't afford it, or you're not good enough, or it could be whatever it is relating to. Okay, it's not always just money. So there was a lot of money stuff I had to go through, and even the beliefs about cancer, getting the cancer through what I saw my mother go through, and the statistics I read, having to change all that, and finding out many years later the truth that, cancer is caused by a lot of lifestyle factors and not so much genetics, even though I carried that for so long. So yeah, it's having to go within. So that's really the first pillar. The second one is what I term rewire and regulate. So to be able to shift these thoughts, feelings, beliefs that I had going on, I had to rewire my subconscious mind. A lot of it is in the subconscious mind, which is a really powerful mind. It's more powerful than your conscious mind. Okay, it makes up about 95% of what we do, what we think, say, feel, etc., what we believe. So I had to use tools like hypnotherapy, um, timeline therapy, other different tools to help rewire the thoughts in that subconscious mind and those feelings in the subconscious mind. So it was having to do daily work, and ongoing work, putting in the effort of, saying positive affirmations to myself or writing positive affirmations out, positive suggestions. The regulation part of the concept is regulating the nervous system. So when we're stuck in anxiety, stress, anger, fears, all of that, our nervous system is very unregulated, okay? We're very on edge, okay? We can be triggered really easy because a lot of what we experience gets stuck in our nervous system as energy, okay? The energy doesn't flow through the nervous system properly like it should. So it can easily trigger us, put us on high alert, make us even panicky and have panic attacks. So it was having to do things like deep breathing, meditations, mindfulness, the writing, the journaling, even exercise to help regulate that nervous system. There's two parts to our nervous system: sympathetic, which is that stress, anxiety, fear state of the nervous system, that fight and flight, which a lot of people are in and stuck in. The other part of the nervous system is our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our calm, relaxed part of the nervous system. So I have to shift from that sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic to create that calm and relax through doing self-care practices every day, like the deep breathing, as I said, mindfulness, hypnosis even helped with it, exercise. And the third pillar is the elevate and embrace. So it's about elevating your energies, your mental, emotional, physical energies, and being able to embrace this newfound us. Because when we shift from places of anxiety, stress, anger, all of that negative emotion, negative thinking, the berating of ourselves, we shift the energies within our body, okay? And we come more into higher level frequency and energies, okay? So we're elevating our energies and we end up embracing this newfound us. We can feel like a new person when we let go of past hurts, pains, when we let go of future anxieties, all of that kind of stuff. And we become more present in the present moment, the everyday living moments. It feels like a new person when we can let go of the mental and emotional and even sometimes physical weight for people. So that's the three pillars, what I've discovered on my journey and put together.
Well, I think that's amazing. And I think it's very logical to be able to understand these three pillars, how you can implement them in your daily life, and how it reflects back to mental health to be able to look after and support yourself, and especially all the pressure that mums are under. So to be able to best educate, empower, and support them. And I've also just seen, because obviously your program, you have Thrive in your Body, Minds, and Life program, you also have this amazing Walk for Change. Walk and the number 4 for change, which is also amazing, because then if you want to go and find you to book a 30-minute discovery call, you can go on to choice with the number 4 change .as.me. Is that correct?
They can go to the website, which is the choice4change.com.au.
Oh,
And all my contact details on there. They can also find me on Facebook, Instagram. Under Instagram is the Choice for Change. Facebook is under my name, Suzanne Shoesmith. So they can find me, on the social media. Even if they just type in Choice for Change, it'll come up there as well. I do have a business page on Facebook under that name.
well, that's very exciting. So I really appreciate your time today. And obviously, all of these links are going to be in the show notes as well as on my socials as well. So if everyone that's been listening, understanding that Sue, her journey, where she's come from, where she is now, and how she wants to be able to empower and educate other mums to be able to have a beautiful, healthy, relaxed life to build more resilience. Please go and find her on your socials, connect with her anytime that you can. And I want to be able to say thank you again for coming on. And we really appreciate you. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the things that you've said have definitely resonated with people.
Thank you so much, Eleanor, for having me on. Greatly appreciate it. It's been great talking with you as well and being on your show.
No, it's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye for now.
Bye.
See ya.